Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thursday Night Fights here on YouTube. Channel is G4G. The game is Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux. The host is Napalm Dawn, as you would expect. And we're going to go ahead and get right into this week's fights. This week's fights are a accidental viewer request from a viewer that commented last week. So, Scott the Wit 258 commented last week on the upload that he really liked the Devourer, the Rocket Pistol, Sabertooth Claws, and custom Grecian Sai. Now, he did not make a formal request for a viewer team. However, I'm deciding to turn that comment into a viewer request. So I've put together a team for this particular video, and I'm going to use the gear that viewer Scott the Wit 258 mentioned as a form of a half and half viewer request. It's my team, but it's his gear that he mentioned. Some of the gear I was actually missing, so I farmed it on stream this week. I had the Devourer, had the Rocket Pistol, I had the Cat's Claws, so I went and farmed the Sabertooth Claws, and it actually looks like I did have the custom Grecian Sai, so I did not have to farm it. We did have to go for the Sabertooth Claws twice, and we did it on challenge mode, and it actually turned out to be pretty challenging. So if you want to see that footage, you can go to Wednesday's stream on my Twitch before it winds up getting deleted. As for Twitch, I should mention that there is a high possibility I will not stream Tuesday and Wednesday of this week on Twitch. Normally I do it at about 3 p.m. Eastern to about 5. However, I think I may be taking a little bit of a mental health break from the streaming of this week. The job hunt has been a roller coaster, and there was an up and down event this week that is sapping my soul to continue existing on this planet. So I think I may take Tuesday and Wednesday off next week just to have 2 unstructured days there rather than having to worry about the timing. But we'll see. Make sure you join our Discord. I always announce in that Discord when the stream has gone live, but you can count on it under most circumstances to be between 3 and 5 Eastern Standard Time over on the Twitch channel. The link is down in the description. I have made this fancy new PowerPoint presentation for the disclaimers that I do in every video. So let's go ahead and get into this week's disclaimers with the new and fancy PowerPoint graphics, and then we will start the fights. Read the video description carefully for the links. The links are there for the Facebook group, the Discord server, and to download Beta 5.2. There is no ETA on Beta 6. There will be no mobile versions, and there is a major difference between what you have with 5.2 and what you see on my screen when I'm playing either 5.9 or 6.04. My save within 6.04 is getting considerably more progressed, so I may begin to move the PvP videos over to that save rather than 5.9. We are right on the cusp of recruiting Mockingbird. We're right on the cusp of having the 4th weapon slot available, since that count has now hit 1,000,000 silver and has a level 59 agent. 60 is when the 4th slot opens up, and it is a lot of fun to be able to recruit Mockingbird again. I've recruited her about 4 or 5 times now at this point, but that first Spec Ops is always a really, really good benchmark for how your account is going. So now that we have the disclaimers, okay, well, that was interesting. It seems like when I got out of PowerPoint there, the recording stopped, so my apologies for getting cut off over there. So we are back in the agent. We are back in the Beta 5.9 save, which is Agent Tester. The level is 152, and we're going to go ahead and jump into it. I've got Black Panther and Black Knight. I've got a Scrapper agent to make up for their weakness, which is Infiltrators. And as Scott the Wit 258 commented, we have the Devourer, the Rocket Pistol, the Sabertooth Claws, and the custom Grecian Sai. My guess is that the opening salvo will always be the Rocket Pistol, so people begin to bleed. And then the other weapons we will play by ear. Black Knight has two passives. He has the passive that he can jump in on attacks made by and against people who are bleeding. He also has another passive where he makes slashing attacks add a stack of bleeds. If that slashing attack already caused a bleed, it will make 2 of them. Or if it makes 2 in the case of like Black Cat and everything, it'll make 3. And if it doesn't cause any bleeds at all, it will cause a stack of bleeds. That passive does not work in 5.9, but the jump in passive does. So just be prepared for that. We have Agent Flynn, which is Blaster Thor and Tactician Emma Frost. So we have a net positive in this combat, 2 Tacticians on the Blaster, and a Scrapper on the Infiltrator. And that's what I'm going to do first, is get rid of the enemy agent with a rocket pistol shot, and then should hopefully follow it up with some fisting, which really will be almost unnecessary because he's going to die to the dots I put him on him and die to his own dots. And Agent Tester, oh my god, Agent Tester is going crazy. For this match, I think he's going to be the star. If you happen to hear me drinking in the background, it is a can of Olipop cream soda. I am a fan of cream soda, but not so much Olipop. Olipop is okay. Ebony Blade would start the... Ooh, there's the Devourer, the hardest working weapon in the business. So Blood Curse is what starts the counters for the bleeds and everything like that. If you were to look at his passives, you will see that he has Pentecostal Oath, grants all allies magic warding. There's the magic warding. Blood Curse, chance to perform a follow-up attack when an ally attacks bleeding, chance to counter. Ally slashing attacks apply bleeding. So that means technically this one should do 2 stacks. Well, he's already fully poisoned, so let's make with Horsey time. We've already got our tactical bonus. The horse is always fun. And that is a bug right there that exists in 5.9. I'm not too sure if it exists in 6, but you'll notice that when he threw out the horse, he did the bleeding follow-up with his level 1. Follow-ups in 5.9, if they are following an AoE attack, actually become an AoE. So, like, there's my boys from Iron Man. If it follows up on a AoE attack, there's my boys attacks everybody. The Master Sword attacks everybody with Opportunist. Black Knight attacks everybody with that level 1. That is one of the many bugs that was in 5.9 and why it is not out publicly, but hopefully it is fixed in beta 6. It's not game breaking, but by the same token, it is not the way it is intended. It is definitely a bug, although it is usually a bug that actually works in your favor. So, Fight 1 was pretty easy. The agent was the star of that one by some massive follow-ups there with the Scrapper on the Infiltrator. Let's get into Fight 2. Agent Flynn again. This time Black Panther is first, which means I'm not going for the agent because he's an Infiltrator. However, the agent goes very late, so I can let him live. I can let my own agent do that. I'm going to have Black Panther ramp up on Thor. Tactician against Blaster. Now Black Panther has his full kit ready. That was interesting. Chivalrous Duty procced on that one. He unlocked potential went out, and then it seems like Emma did her level 2 kick. And Black Knight went and jumped in on it. Okay. Interesting. Thor has 1 stack of bleed. That should take him right to 3, but it doesn't. If Black Knight was fully working, Blood Curse would have kicked in. That's a slashing attack, which already causes bleeds. it would have created two stacks. I'm going to go ahead and use Shield of Night. If Black Knight is going to tank, let's get him covered so that he tanks more effectively. Plus, it's a hemorrhaging attack. Thor bleeds out. Actually, I don't... Being an Asgardian, I don't remember if he's supposed to be afflicted by bleeds or not. We're going to have to check the roster on that. I know being Asgardian, he has certain immunities. We're going to check that after this fight and see if he actually is supposed to be bleeding. Here we go again with the massive overkill on the enemy agent. 2 follow-ups for some reason. It's an epic overkill. Black Panther is ready to go into Panther stance. One of the best things you could do is have the quick action not be a quick action. Well, unfortunately, we're not going to see Black Panther in his full kit. The quick action acted as a regular action. It just went away. Let's horse. There's the follow-up because she's bleeding. My agent is going to pass because we want... Black Panther was shafted last turn. We're going to throw the daggers. And it's huge. And there's the follow-up that he for some reason tends to do there on that one. This is a visual bug. I'm not actually using the hot shot, but the mission agent has the hot shot equipped. Let's take a look at Thor really, really quickly. I want to see what his Asgardian immunities are. Burning chill point. Okay, so bleeding is fine. He can bleed. He's just immune to other stuff. All right. Pretty balanced match on that one. Again, the agent really worked over the infiltrator, but overall, a very balanced. We got to see Black Panther do some massive damage too. I would like for my agent to be able to get some of these other weapons going, but we're going through the combat super, super fast. Agent Flynn again. This is unfortunate. You may be watching this and going, wow, Napalm, that seems... I don't know. That seems a little mid to be fighting the same team over and over again, especially one that you're kind of raking over the coals like this. I have talked to the dev team about this after seeing it multiple times and have said, hey, is there anything that could be done about this? Like when you fight a team, it could be put on a cooldown so that it like kind of goes to the bottom of the list, so that you're not constantly fighting the same team time and time again. They heard the issue. They recognized it. I'm not too sure if they're can or going to do something about it, but it is a concern that I have brought to them. And there goes Black Knight tanking. Unfortunately, he does not have his covered, so he took some solid damage from it, but it caused Thor to bleed out. I'm going to do the horse, but then I'm not going to have Black Panther do anything. I'm going to save her for my agent so that we can get another piece of gear being used over here, because it just keeps being the rocket pistol. Anyway, the devs have said that they will try to see what they could do about it. I don't know how much they could do or how much... Emma's just going to bleed out. Okay. But, yeah, as you can see here, facing the same team 3 times, it has its disadvantages and its advantages. In this case, if I was actually doing a tournament, that would be 3 very easy wins. Bob's your uncle, 3 in, 3 out. Super simple. However, if this was a team that was consistently beating you and you made adjustments and they beat you again and again, you're probably going to get extremely frustrated. And to be honest, the way that we're working this team over, we've been challenged not 1 iota. So that's not fun either. It's not fun for a different way. It's not a frustrating way, but it could still kind of be really not fun. So hopefully That is something that can be worked on in the future. I cannot 100% guarantee it will be, but it is a suggestion that I have made that potentially when you face a team, you have a little bit less of a chance to face them for at least a battle or two. It doesn't necessarily have to go to the bottom of the deck like a Magic the Gathering shuffle or something, but just maybe not face the same team 2-3 times in a row. Oh God, we're doing a bonus battle on this one. This is now 4 times in a row. We've had different people start on my side, and the agent actually goes early on this one. So there's Black Knight following up on himself, which is really solid. I think I'm going to Horse. Maybe get some more damage on the agent, and maybe his own natural dots because of his gear. He'll fall apart. But he's taking reduced damage from dots, so maybe not. There's the Fury. Goes right after the Tactician, so relatively smart AI there. Do I open? Everybody's bleeding because of the Horse, so let's do something different this time. We have the Sabertooth Claws, and we have the custom Grecian Sai. It looks like the Grecian Sai is rated far, far higher on the damage, so let's try it. I don't think it lived up to the hype. It was solid, but it wasn't amazingly solid. Emma unlocks potential on Thor, which if debuff clearing worked in 5.9, his debuffs would be cleared. And he would have some stamina restored, but we would have debuffed him right back, so oh well. Black Panther kicks Blaster ass again. There's Shield of Night for covered. Let's try the Sabertooth Claws. A little bit less damage than the Grecian Sai when you add up the 2 hits, but overall better. Now we have the bonus damage from the bleeding, so we finally get to see some of the other agent gear. Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed here for a different team for the 5th battle. If we fight Flynn again for 5 battles, that is nuts, and I admittedly have never seen it go that far before. Okay, Hercules and Quicksilver. We are not weak to the Scrapper. We are weak to the 2 Bruisers, though. So this could be something interesting. The agent, I believe, is going to tank because of sacrifice. That's a Hoarfrost agent. We have to hit the agent. We're going to enrage the agent here. So maybe we'll actually get a little bit of a challenge in this fight. I lean back and drink my Olipop soda. That is not that great. It tastes like a sugar-free soda, even though it's not. Not a fan. Oh, the Odin Staff. Yes, the Odin Staff, before you ask, is not supposed to have that sound effect. That has been reported. I am going to go with Wakandan Arts as the lead because he's bleeding, so why not exploit them? What's Hercules going to do? Gift of Battle, that's safe. Column down would be the worst. I'm going to go ahead and open up with the Horse. Oh, is he going to tank all of it? Wow, Hercules tanked the AoE, except the dots went out to everybody. Well, not the dots, but the debuffs. Interesting. Black Knight takes the 1 mile punch, sacrifices for the team. And my Devourer follows up. Ooh, that's good. That's tasty. Sabertooth Claws the agent. Pretty weak damage there, but it got it done. And now let's do Anti-Metal Claws on Hercules because he should be tanking, although it's not listed anymore. So I'll try Quicksilver. Okay. Quicksilver's out of there. We are tempting fate that Hercules doesn't column down us. Haha, Black Knight tanks Hercules the way Hercules tanked us. And he bleeds out for his troubles. So 5-0 and not particularly challenged until that last fight. Minor challenge there. There was one psychic tap from Emma, but it was too little too late. We should do a bonus fight today. I don't think I want to change any gear. And I don't think I want to change any of the characters. I could bring in somebody like Sif who would become a bleeder on every one of her slashing attacks if Black Knight was working correctly, so that could be fun and interesting. You know, we've seen Wolverine before. Deadpool would cause bleeds on... Why is sharp pointy things with swords only melee and not slashing? Playdom, go home. You're drunk. I don't get... That should be melee and slashing. He uses swords. Okay. Magic uses a sword. It's magic and melee. It's not slashing. What? Sometimes Playdom did not categorize things correctly. With Black Knight, Tigra would be causing 2 stacks of bleeds there. She would be causing a stack of bleed there. And she would on Friendly, so that would be Frenzy, that would be 2 stacks. Psylocke, that is slashing, so she would actually cause bleeds if she was with Black Knight. We did an X23 in a video. Beast with Black Knight, also with Farewell to Arms, would cause bleeds. Shitterstar would be doing a lot of bleeds because everything he does is slashing. And when you look at those swords, you would truly think everything other than maybe Gladiatorial Carnage, which sort of uses his hilts in the move, that would be all bleeds over there. Union Jack has a bunch of slashing attacks. Angel has melee slashing over there, so that would be bleeds. Aspersio would be bleeds. Yeah, so there are a lot of characters who would benefit from Black Knight's passives. I don't think any of his... Oh my god, Crackdown is considered slashing. So is Lightning Lash. This isn't a bladed weapon. This is essentially a whip. A whip would never be classified as a slashing attack. That's... Playdom, you are drunk as fuck. These are things that you would not see fixed in Beta 6, but maybe when the team gets the chance, they can do a pass of stuff like that and make things a little more logical, but that's in the future. They're looking at getting a working, stable Beta 6 out to people as soon as they can. No disadvantages or advantages for other teams over here, but the agent's weapons look really, really scary, so I'm going to shoot him. Doctor Strange is scary because the Terrorizing boost is overpowered, so this is a tough call right here. You know, do we go Strange? Do we go Agent Judy? Judy, no! Black Panther. Alright, so that is reduced damage thanks to Pentecostal Oath. My god, is it not fun to actually see that happen? One of Black Knight's major passives is actually in effect, and look at how limited that damage is. That's actually really, really sweet to see. I'm so happy for Black Knight that he actually gets to use his Pentecostal Oath for a change here. Ghost Rider recharges. That was asked about in a video recently. I think that is happening because characters are programmed to do randomly any one of the abilities that are not cooled down, and recharge counts as that. That is something that hopefully we will see fixed in Beta 6. I'm not doing PvP yet in Beta 6, so I'm not really too sure if that's fixed already. Let's swipe everybody with the Devourer. I think the extra stack of bleeds on everybody will be super handy. Okay, so Doctor Strange falls apart. And we are left with just Ghost Rider over here. Do I want to use Atonement for the first time in the video? Yeah, Ghost Rider's about ready to take his turn, so why not? Good. Glad he tanked that. And Ghost Rider falls apart. Okay, so 6-0, never really pressured. Finally got the agent to use all of his pieces of gear, but of course on the agent, the Devourer and the rocket pistol are the stars. You could put 2 bird feathers and a cat turd for the remaining gear over there, and the rocket pistol and the Devourer would absolutely still mop up. We got to see Black Panther do some massive damage. Vibranium daggers are always amazing, especially for their ethereal nature, which can go through like Force Cage and Phase and stuff like that. Black Knight did his job. Absolutely did his job. Horse setup, AoE bleeds. He added a lot of damage to bleeding targets. He tanked really well. And we actually got to see his Pentecostal Oath come into play over there and reduce some magic damage, which is... there isn't a lot at this stage of the game. You got Doctor Strange and Zatanna and Damon, all in Season 1, but there's not a lot of real magic damage out there. And if you recall, there was a season later in the game somewhere. It was a Season 2 PvP. I don't remember what PvP season it was, but there was one season where Black Knight was bugged as shit and was just basically invincible. He was tanking everything. He was taking massively reduced damage. He was almost nearly invincible for 2 or 3 rounds at the beginning of combat. I don't know how many of you guys remember that, but there was definitely one season where he was nuts. And I don't really recall what Playdom ever did about it. I don't remember them nerfing him or saying, yeah, it was a bug. They didn't extend the season. They didn't give extra rewards. It just sort of was like, yeah, okay, he's doing this. We fixed it. Don't worry about it. Goodbye. As far as I remember, but that happened. It's in my memory bank somewhere. So that's it for me. Have yourself a great weekend. Stay safe. Again, I might not be streaming next week, but just follow along on Discord. And if you don't see the announcements go out, then I am taking Tuesday and or Wednesday off. I might add a Marvel Heroes video for Friday, now that is in really good shape now with server emulator 0.5.0. So, adios everybody.